Okay, we're going to look at page 9. Página 9 is what we'd call that in Spanish, Página 9 in your textbook. And you'll notice there that you'll see the Spanish alphabet. In your supersize exercises, you will have an exercise dealing with the Spanish alphabet, but I wanted to talk about it and the importance of the alphabet because of the fact that Spanish is phonetic. And so knowing the letters of the alphabet will help you as you're reading Spanish to understand how the words should sound. So for all of the vowels in Spanish, so A, E, I, O, and U, there's only one letter sound, unlike in English where we have 2 to 3 letter sounds and sometimes more than that. So with A, the first letter of the alphabet, the only sound we have for A is A. And every time we see that letter, that's the sound that we're going to make. So we're going to go through the alphabet and say the letters, and I'll talk about the sounds that they make as we go. So the first letter is A, and we make that wide sound or wide movement with our mouth, trying to get as much of a native sound as we can. So A, and then B. B is similar to our B sound, very soft B sound. And then we have Se. Se has the same sounds as in English. If it's followed by an E or an I, it sounds like an S, so, or otherwise it sounds like K. The other sound that C can make when it's combined with U is our sound that we have with QU, which is Qu. So in cuando and cuantos, we get the Qu sound with a combination of C and U together. And then we have De. And when we say De, we want to put our tongue to the back of our front teeth rather than to the roof of our mouth the way that we do in English. And so when we say De, we want to stick our tongue to the back of our front teeth, De. Then we have E. E is the only letter sound that we have for E. And then F. He. He is the sound that G makes when it's followed by E or I. Otherwise, it sounds like G. Okay, so He. And I say that sounds a lot like a cough a cat that's coughing up a fur ball. So if you can kind of think of that. So He. Then we have H, which I always put my hand in front of my mouth when I'm talking to kids, when I'm teaching young children, to help them remember that H does not have a sound. It actually makes the sound that the vowel that follows it makes, which in, for example, the word hola. We don't say hola, we say hola. Okay, so H. Then we have E. E is the only letter sound that we have for that vowel, E. Then Jota. Jota sounds like RH, so H. So in Javier, for example. And then we have K, which is our same as our K sound that we have in English. And then L. L, again, moving the L instead of to the roof of the mouth, we're moving it to the back of our front teeth. So L. And then M, very similar to our sound that we have in English. N, again, moving the tongue instead of to the roof of the mouth to the back of the front teeth. N. Then O. O is the only letter sound that we have for that vowel. Then P. P is similar to our P sound in English, so P. And then we have Q, which sounds like our K sound, our K sound in English. So it doesn't sound like Qu. Remember, CU makes the Qu sound in Spanish, but QU sounds like K. So K, like the word K. Then we have R. R is just a short roll of the R to the roof of the mouth. If you can't roll your R's, you can still speak Spanish, but I do challenge you to practice in front of a mirror, and you're putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth and then vibrating. Okay, with 2 R's, it's a longer sound, and with one R, it's just a short sound. And then we have S, which is our same sound that we have in English, and then Te. Te, again, moving our tongue to the back of our front teeth. So Te. Then we have U, which is the only letter sound that vowel makes. So U. Then Be, which sounds more like a B than a V sound. So Be, like in verdad, okay? So not the like the in English, but B more. than the sound. And then W sounds like our W sound that we have in English. Notice that the example they have is Walkman, which is kind of funny because not very many of us are using Walkman anymore. But that's just to demonstrate most of the W letter words that begin with W are actually English words, so Walkman. Then we have X, which is similar to our sound that we have in English. So existir, we have in English. And we also have Mexico, which has X in it. And the reason Mexico actually sounds like that is because originally Mexico was spelled with jota or J, and so it sounded like H instead of like the X sound normally does. Then we have Y, which is our yes sound, just like we have in English, and then zeta, which is Z and sounds like S more than Z, so zona, for example.